I think with that propaganda.
I thought I'd get some applause on that one.
Now, here's a couple of reasons why you got no applause, I think. If you cut taxes for people going to college, it really wouldn't matter because the liberals who run our educational systems have jacked up the cost of college tuition. So what difference is your supposed tax cut going to make? Also, there's a difference between tax cuts and tax incentives. Obama is saying we'll cut taxes for small businesses who give jobs. No. How about you cut taxes up front so they can give jobs? See, when there's federal tax, state tax, local tax, corporate tax, payroll tax, regulatory fees, etc., why not encourage states to cut their taxes as well as the federal government cutting taxes and tax outcome, not income? Let people keep real money so they can spend real money. All these government-imposed costs on a business tax the hiring power of business. And after all these costs, Obama wants to say, but if you hire some people, we'll give you a little break. That's tax incentive, not tax cuts. That's the donkey dangling the carrot, man. That's why he got no applause for that one. He wasn't being honest. But more than that, there's a strategy there. The strategy was to say something that people would expect Republicans to agree with. And when they didn't applaud Obama for it, it makes Republicans look like they're the sourpuss party, and no. The Republicans not applauding wasn't for them being stubborn. They didn't applaud because Obama wasn't being honest. What I think is funny, though, Obama and his advisors know that in order for him to gain an image of being effective, he has to lean to the right and speak the conservative language now. Look, y'all, the media, the educational system, and the entertainment industry has conditioned a great deal of the American people to hate all things George W. Bush. Nuclear. Anybody who was going to run on the Republican ticket in 2008 was going to be accused of being like Bush. They called McCain Bush Part 2, for example. People were conditioned to hate Bush so much that the ones who blindly voted for Obama are now turning against him because they're detecting traces of George W. Bush on him and are now starting to call him George Bush Part 2 also. Obama had to be run as somebody who looked totally different from Bush. So he was ran as a total liberal. And don't get me wrong, he didn't mind because that's what he is. Partial birth abortion, military negative, socialistic policies, and so on. He ran as the anti-Bush, and many Americans were conditioned to elect the anti-Bush. But Obama didn't just win because of that. We lost because we didn't pick a rock-ribbed conservative to run against him. With all the factors Obama had going for him, like the people hating Bush so much that they were happy to take Obama, an unpopular war, and Hollywood doing their best to show the people that he was nothing short of a god, he still only won by a small margin. Man, it should have been a landslide victory. The reason why it wasn't is because many of the conservatives stayed home. Now, had a conservative been picked to run against Obama, and yes, a talent of relatability would help, Obama would have lost. In 2012, a conservative Republican will be picked, and all the conservatives who sat out in 2008 are going to come and vote with the rest of the country who have realized they've been suckered into a spell of hate and prejudice against Republicans and are turning back from the socialist abyss that the liberals are trying to drag us into. Obama and his advisors know that. That's why he's trying to appear like he's moving to the right. Now, there are some conservatives that are excited because there are liberals that are turning against Obama. Some liberals are doing it for the right reasons. Some liberals aren't. Those are the liberals that feel that Obama isn't being liberal enough and want him to strong-arm these left-wing policies now. And damn what the people say. Like a dictator. Well, what about Bush? He took us to war with Iraq and he didn't care about what the people said. Look, y'all, the job of our government is to protect us from enemies both foreign and domestic. That's not some new policy that you push through. That's like an actual mainstay job of the government. Now, when Al-Qaeda struck the World Trade Center in 1993, Bill Clinton did nothing. When Al-Qaeda struck the USS Cole, Bill Clinton did nothing. When Al-Qaeda struck the U.S. embassies, Bill Clinton did
Monica Lewinsky!
Monica Lewinsky, that's right. Bill Clinton knew that Al-Qaeda was an active and hostile enemy and he did nothing. And you still want to blame George Bush? You're mad at Bush for taking out Saddam Hussein, a financer of Al-Qaeda and a grantor of safe havens for them to conduct their operations. Did you ever consider, if Clinton had taken bin Laden then and came down on Al-Qaeda, 9/11 wouldn't have happened had such preventative measures been taken. He would have been within his right to do so. They attacked us repeatedly before 9/11. So Bush, not wanting to make the same mistake, took the preventative actions against Saddam Hussein that Clinton should have taken against Al-Qaeda so as to prevent Saddam Hussein from exacting or contracting other militants to exact a strike against us. And being that Saddam had a rogue nuclear program going, guess what kind of attack that would have been? So I know Obama really wants to lay all this blame on George Bush, but it's a lie. He's not going to get that applause from Republicans because he lies, and he lies about us. Now he wants to be seen as the guy who was smart enough to make use of nuclear energy, coal, and using our own oil, when we Republicans have been suggesting that for years, only to be met with scorn from liberal environmentalists. Now, lastly, I got something to say about Chris Matthews, whom I think wants to have Obama's baby or something. I don't know. Chris Matthews, who I gather was so elated by Obama's speech, forgot that Obama was black. Which means, by his own admission, before this, when he saw Obama, what he saw was a black man, despite Chris being a colorblind liberal and all. But now you like Obama even more because you're able to forget that he's black. It's good to be able to forget that someone is black. I guess that makes them more acceptable, like a light-skinned Negro minus the Negro dialect. So, if you're able to forget that he's black, what's left for you to remember and embrace about him? The white part? Let it be known, people, that the real racism in this country is a cloud kept over us by liberals. They're hung up on race. These white liberals have the nerve to say they're colorblind, yet they put everyone who's not white in groups, hyphenate them, and refer to them as ethnic, as if white people aren't an ethnic group themselves. Everybody else has to be referred to as a hyphenated American except the white liberal elites because according to them, they're the American standard and they don't need a hyphen. Let me tell y'all something else. I ain't colorblind. I don't play that. I see color. I see blacks, whites, browns, yellows, reds, and I thank God for all the colors I survey. And that's it. If you're a different ethnicity than me, I'm aware of it, but I'm not hung up on it like liberals are and pull a muscle trying to pat myself on the back for being tolerant of different ethnicities. These liberals are overly indulgent on feel-goodism, and they get drunk with this idea of being colorblind. This drunkenness impairs judgment. A demonstration of that would be the election of Barack Obama. And you liberals are looking more racist than ever.